time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, XL, and Huber, way too firefull. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah, I got the juice. Yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing.
You are now live with the Locked In Podcast. As always, your hosts for the evening, Steve Ushler and George Mecaj. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn notifications on to stay up to date with the most current personal development tips and sports analysis. With that being said, welcome to the podcast and enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Locked In Podcast, episode 107. Crazy to say we've passed the 3-year mark. However, it'll be a full 3 years worth of episodes when we get to, I believe it is 156. So we are about 9 away from there. And when we get to that point, we will have a celebration, maybe followed by a giveaway. We'll do some really fun stuff. As always, I am your host for the evening, Steve Ushler, and George Mecaj, my co-host, will be in shortly. I do want to apologize. We were supposed to have a guest this week, but George's guest, George, really didn't kind of follow up with me or let me know until yesterday. So I know now, but I didn't know yesterday. We were supposed to have consistent guests coming on the next few weeks, but we will jump into that and we will handle that. So we will have guests coming on, I hope, for the remainder of this year, to be honest. That's kind of like how the pipeline realistically looks. We were supposed to have a guest this week too. So now we have to kind of figure out where we can possibly fit them in, maybe one of the other guests. But the guest this week, I think we're going to try to fit them in with the guest next week. So maybe be 2 guests in the pipeline for next week, and you'll see some promo as the week goes on. So if you guys saw the promotion on Facebook or maybe Instagram, we are talking on personal development again tonight, and we do want to keep this short, sweet, and to the point. We are a Philadelphia-based sports podcast. However, with the unfortunate and tragic bounce out of the MLB postseason, the Philadelphia Phillies, it still takes a little bit of time, I think, to talk about this one. A lot of people, reached out to didn't really, want to talk about sports yet, so we might hold off on that. But we do have some sports ones kind of geared up in the next few weeks. So this week we're like, bounce back to personal development. Since our guest can't come on this week, we are talking about how to reset your brain in 7 days. This is something I've recently started doing. So I did a 7-day detox recently, and I want to share my experiences with it. I want to share some insight for you guys. And I do want to kind of link this to not crashing, the dreaded midday afternoon crash if you are a standard, workday person. I'm not. Obviously, everybody's midday is different. So if you are an overnight worker, I empathize or I sympathize because I used to work overnights for 6 years. Your midday might happen around 1 or 2 in the morning, depending on your shift. However, for the standard worker, somebody who starts around anywhere from 6 to 9 a.m., their crash usually happens. If you're going to have a crash, an energy crash, it usually occurs at the 12 noon mark, a little bit after in the afternoon. So I'm going to kind of link that because something I was struggling with for a little bit, and with the knowledge that I was able to discover, I found some tips that were honestly able to help me, and I'm still getting better at it. I wasn't crashing for the longest, and now recently, the last couple of months, I was feeling afternoon crashes. So I am going to talk about how to reset your brain for success and rewire. And I think this happens to everybody at different points in our life, maybe multiple times. I would say most people multiple times at some point in their life, where you kind of need to go into that reset. It's like a detox from dopamine detox, kind of reset and rewire your brain and your mind. And also, I'm going to tell you from my experience how to avoid that crash, that dreaded afternoon crash. With that being said, guys, my co-host will be here shortly, but as always, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, make sure that you click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn notifications on because we release up-to-date personal development tips and sports content, and you do not want to miss it. 147 episodes deep here. 147. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. I just want to thank all you guys, anybody who subscribed to us, whether it's via YouTube, whether it's via Instagram, whether it's via Facebook, however you're honestly consuming this content. I just want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, because you may be listening or watching. If you're listening, you're likely on Spotify or Anchor. Apple Podcast is something too that we're putting in the works here. So I just want to thank you. We're here. With that being said, I will hop into this shortly. I'm kind of trying to hang on and wait for my co-host. And a ton of viewers in here yet anyway, so all right, guys. So I'm actually just gonna hop into it while we're waiting here. Resetting your brain in 7 days. Okay. So this is something I recently did. It was a 7-day detox, and I actually tried it. I actually succeeded on the second time. So the first time, I actually lapsed, and I did not follow all the way through from being 100% accountable. But the second time, I was able to kind of carry through to the end of that. So we were able to get through that 7-day. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. So essentially resetting your brain, detoxing your brain for 7 days. So your mindset, this is something a lot of times we come through a rut in our life. So welcome in, guys who just joined it in. See some new people just joined in. George will be with us shortly. So when George gets on, I will add him in. But okay, so this is something I went through recently. I was saying 7-day detox for your mind. It was a dopamine detox essentially. And I think at some point in your life, when you start to feel like you're lacking, you're not accomplishing enough. And that's why I wanted to kind of link this into the afternoon sluggishness too. You kind of need to do a detox and reset your mindset for success. And your mindset's the most powerful tool, because physicality is cool and all. You can take actions and stuff, but it all starts with your mindset. Most of the time we fight our mind. We fight that voice inside of our head that tells us not to do things. And a lot of times it's because we're getting dopamine fixes elsewhere. So essentially that's what I'm going to break down here. Just trying to make sure there's no noise in the background there, guys. Sorry about that. Just had I'm in my office and there's people sometimes walking by as I'm doing it. But all right, so what I want to kind of say is, from the research I looked at and I related to it, many people think that they lack energy or knowledge, but in reality, they don't actually lack that energy or that knowledge. Focus is the key to success. So it's not your energy or your knowledge. You're not lacking there. Essentially, it's your focus that's the key to success. So limiting distractions and focusing on one task at a time can lead to success. And this is a big thing. This was demonstrated by, there was a speaker's ability to, like, literally to earn $10 million by the age of 21. It was from a study I was reading. So limiting distractions is one of the biggest things. And I think a lot of times we like to use the word multitask because we want to accomplish 5 million different things. I'm very guilty of it myself. I'm very guilty of it myself. And that's the thing. Sorry about that. So resetting dopamine levels can help you achieve goals and success. Very much so. Limiting screen time to 1 hour a day can be helpful to reset the brain. And I want to tell you this because we have talked so many times here, and I feel like we always touch on something when it comes to this. And dopamine is a big thing. Dopamine is huge. We have so much instant gratification at our fingertips, and it is literally an instant gratification world. That is what we live in today. That is what we are literally comprised of. Everything is in front of us. It is at our fingertips 24/7. Television, Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, smart TVs, cable, whatever is at our fingertips. Pornography at our fingertips. Things that you had to go get Playboy magazines or whatever back in the day now are at your fingertips. You can literally just have it in your hand and you can whack off and just be in your bedroom or masturbate, whatever, and nobody even knows you did it. So at the end of the day, you can keep that under wraps. There is just screen time, getting instant gratification from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, social media. This is all things that are at our fingertips and at our disposal. Unfortunately, this short-term gratification can keep our mind wired. TikTok's another big one. A lot of people, spend hours and hours a day scrolling TikTok. The problem is we're consuming content, but we're not producing it. A little bit of entertainment every day isn't bad, but the problem is if you're starting your day with it or ending your day with it, it can be a treacherous cycle if you don't catch yourself. This is an unfortunate reality. So in order to, reset your brain for success, there's a lot of different things you got to do. It's a big difference. There's a lot of things you have to be able to do. Number one, I would say, is watch your sugar intake and watch your caffeine. A change of diet this isn't really dopamine and instant gratification, but caffeine can be instant gratification. It can be a high and a rush. A lot of times we rely on our bodies for caffeine. And I know right now you're going to probably see me throughout this episode sipping on a coffee here. You're going to be like, you fucking hypocrite. At the end of the day, I'm actually not drinking a caffeinated coffee right now. I do like the taste of coffee. I'm drinking a decaf coffee. It is a decaf hazelnut coffee. It's the shot. It's not the sweetened. And yeah, it's a decaf coffee, literally. I am trying to get better with consuming caffeine in later in the day. It was one of the things that was contributing to my crashes in the afternoon. I was drinking caffeine way too early before bed. So there's a rule, and I'm going to actually break it down for you towards the end of this video. A lot of people like to call it the 10-3-1 rule. You should tailor this to what works for you. So I figured out, for me, anything from 6 to 7 hours before bed, I should not be considering consuming caffeine. So if I go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, I should not be consuming caffeine anywhere after 3 or 4 p.m. Right now, if I was drinking coffee and I'm planning to go to bed tonight, say at 10 o'clock, this would not be good for me, my body personally. Some people say 10, so they can't consume caffeine anywhere 10 hours before bed. So if they go to bed at 10, nowhere at 12 noon, which means if they're an early riser and they get to work, they should be consuming caffeine at some point in the morning, a couple hours after they arise. And that is the standard rule. 3 stands for you should not consume anything food-wise unless it's a very light snack 3 hours before bed. So if you're going to have a big meal, have your last big meal before 3 hours before going to sleep. This has helped me immensely. And I can tell you because I am somebody who like to eat later at night. Unfortunately, it's also not good for your weight either. It's better to not really consume too late, especially a big meal before bed. You can have something filling, but it should just be a light snack, maybe protein-filled snack before bed. There are plenty of options out there. You can literally Google and research them. But essentially, do not consume your last heavy meal any later than 3 hours before bed. It gives your body time to properly digest. They also say with complex carbohydrates, be careful of those before bed. You might want to go with the less complex carbohydrates. So things like boiled white potatoes, white rice, things like that. Brown rice, sweet potatoes, oats can be a problem. And then 1 hour, you don't want to consume any type of technology 1 hour before essentially going to sleep. So that's the 10-3-1 rule. I honestly tailor it to me. It's like a 6/ it's more of a 6-3-1 rule for me. 10 hours is like I can honestly, my body has a tolerance for the caffeine now. So for me, it's more so 6 or 7 hours before bed. What's up, George?
What's up, man? What's up? Sorry, I'm a little late. I just couldn't connect. I had a very long day, man. But good to be back in here, bro. And in this exciting topic, bro, how to rewire your brain and some of your habits and all that. I was able to listen just a small glimpse, and then I'm just trying to like connect in and join the room. And I heard a little bit what you said, though. Pretty dope stuff so far, my dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, welcome back in. I was essentially talking about I recently did a 7-day detox, dopamine detox to kind of rewire my brain. And I actually tried it twice. The first time I kind of failed a couple days in. I kind of slipped up a little bit, but then the second time I was able to kind of lock back in, essentially, as our podcast says, and just kind of refocus and rewire. And I was essentially just doing a small detox and limiting my screen time per day. If it wasn't anything that was a part of producing content or something for work, I really try not to consume too much content. Audiobooks I still would, like in the gym or driving, but essentially there's just so many forms of dopamine that we need to be very careful. I was also linking that into the afternoon crash too. So it depends on what your schedule is. Majority of people the majority of the workforce is people that comprise of, rising early, working early, and ending in the afternoon. Whereas there are people that work overnight too. So everybody's midday is a little bit different. Midday for overnight people is usually like 1 or 2 in the morning. For the regular daytime people who work during the morning and the afternoon, it's usually 12 noon to 2 p.m. And we usually have a crash there. A lot of times this starts with caffeine. I was telling people, you're probably going to think I'm fucking hypocrite. I'm sitting here drinking a coffee. However, this is a decaf coffee. It's a decaf hazelnut shot, unsweetened. I'm not drinking caffeine right now at 5:30 in the afternoon. So say you go to bed at 10 o'clock. For me, I was able to figure out there's a rule called the 10-3-1 rule. Essentially, you shouldn't consume caffeine 10 hours before sleep. You should not consume your last heavy meal of the day any later than 3 hours before you go to sleep. And then you shouldn't be consuming any type of screen time 1 hour before sleep. So for me, I can consume caffeine in a little bit more of a stricter window. Like for me, I can kind of do it in 6 to 7 hours before sleep. 10 hours is a little crazy for me. I think I built up like a lot of a tolerance to it, so I can still sleep soundly. I could actually probably drink coffee and go to bed, but I'm probably not getting super quality sleep if I drink coffee right before bed. It's something I'm really not trying to. We talk about this. Sleep is important, man, because if you don't get quality sleep, it's very hard for you to focus and tackle your day. You know what I mean? You know that. Like if you're feeling tired and sluggish, you're not going to be able to have the energy that you need to make a difference in your day, make a difference in the world.
You need that energy, bro. That exactly that strength to kind of go forward. And
yeah,
I'm glad you brought up the caffeine part because kind of seeing that, bro. You know me. I'm kind of like a late night guy now and a night guy, but there's still occasional days I get up very early. I'll be up as early as like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, which for me right now is like a record. So in those days, bro, if I get up at 7, what it does is essentially it gives me a lot more like I feel kind of better. Number one, I have more time to do things and like I work out or maybe like start the day nice and fresh. But I'll go out the house. But if I come back at 12 or 1 o'clock, dude, I want to sleep till about 3, like for like 2 or 3 hours. like 2.5 hours, because I got up so early and the day's so long. To do like a 7 in the morning to like about 11 at night day, bro, that's and very little caffeine, and just like doing like a workout and a lot of activities and all that's it can get tough. You know what I mean? But I think water helps too, though. Water, drinking certain fluids. Definitely coffee can help a little. Some people drink what do you call it? Red Bull or energy drinks, which I'm not opposed to it, but I think you can do it without drinking it too. That's just a little boost here and there.
Yeah, it could be a boost. I would say honestly, for any energy drink you drink, chase it with water. Same thing with coffee. Coffee is a dehydrator. It is something that can give you. Honestly, I just like the taste of coffee, so I'm drinking a decaf here. This is not going to hype me up at all. However, I do like the taste of coffee, even unsweetened. I can drink a black coffee, and I just love the taste of coffee. However, coffee is a dehydrator. So what it does is dehydrate your body. For every coffee you drink, make sure you drink a water too. Keep yourself hydrated and replenish that. That actually can go similarly for alcohol. So for if you're trying to be healthy and you're trying to stay hydrated, say you go to a Labor Day weekend barbecue or something, you're gonna drink a beer. Matt Lee once said this, who came on here, as well as I think Frank Veneziali might have said this too. Drink water. Drink water. Yeah, drink water for every beer that you drink. I know Matt is a big proponent of that because he's all about being able to have fun with your diet. But, always make sure you chase something with water. This is the best possible energy thing you can have is water. Consume lots of water because a lot of times our body becomes so reliant on caffeine. We don't really need it, though. You know what I mean? A lot of the crap and chemicals that's in most of the things we drink, like energy drinks and stuff, is not really good for you. And I don't want to sit here and be a hypocrite because I drink energy drinks myself. I try not to drink coffee and energy drinks in the same day. However, sometimes I get bored of coffee and I want to have an energy drink. I always keep it like a 12-pack on hand of Ghost Energy. Most people who have seen my stories know I drink Ghost Energy. It's no sugar. However, there is caffeine in it. And I'm not going to lie, there's some bullshit chemicals in there. There are. It's just plain and simple. There are some bullshit chemicals. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. There's no sugar. There's hardly any calories. But there are bullshit chemicals. And I'm sure Frank, if he's watching this, is gonna tell me to stop drinking Ghost Energies. But I mean, I like them. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have a crazy crash effect on me. I've never really felt crashish from Ghost. However, if you drink multiple ones per day, I'm sure you would crash. I don't like feeling sluggish. You know what I mean? I started to feel that way a couple months ago, and I hadn't been feeling that way in a while. Then it became a habit. And I was like, all right, this is the time that I need to kind of reset and rewire because why am I feeling this way in the afternoons? I wasn't getting quality sleep. There were a couple nights where I wasn't able to sleep. I had my TV on and stuff. I'm like, I need to stop this shit right now because long term, it's not good. You know what I mean? You have to figure it out. You have to address it. And dopamine detox is important. One of the things I do want to say is if you want to rewire your brain, one of the biggest things is don't touch your phone the moment you get up. I don't unless you're somebody that has to you're a YouTuber, whatever the case may be as your career, don't touch your phone first thing you get up. Don't look at the news. Don't do any of that stuff. Get up, stretch, number one, hydrate. Number two, stretch. And then just get active. Just get moving. I would say just get moving. Whether it's to go downstairs to grab yourself a glass of water, whatever. Get moving.
That's a good one. That's a key component, bro. You got to get moving. Yep. You got to get up and just get those muscles loose, just to shake it off, man. I mean, I had that problem today. Today I was really tired because I pulled like a crazy night yesterday. It was a big party. And, I had to work in my day job a little from home, but at least I had to sleep a little bit. But when I was getting up, it was very hard. But it helps as well, bro. Either two things, first of all. Either some cold water to your face, and obviously in the morning, you drink a little water, a little gargle, and just water to your face, or a cold shower. Every time you feel really sleepy, just take a cold shower. You'll wake right up.
Exactly. Sometimes people in my house will laugh. I'll go take a cold shower and I'll go, woo, like real quick. You'll hear me in there, I guess, and I'm like energized, but I feel freaking good after I do it. I'll tell you what, man, I get the freezing cold shower. It feels great. But I think most people they hear freezing cold showers and they all think that that's a cure for everything.
They think the worst already, right?
It's the cure for everything. Oh, freezing cold showers. I'm like, no, it's about what you do afterwards because you can take that shower and then go back to bed.
You can. You actually can. Oh, you know what though? Hang on a second. You can take a shower, chill, do your little thing in the in the mirror. Your little stuff, not makeup or nothing. Just cut. Maybe you're trimming your nose hair. Put something here with the little tweezers. You do a shape up for yourself. You make yourself. Like you want to groom it a little bit. And some manscaping, and then you chill for a little bit. And again, like you said, you're not necessarily on your phone now. It's been already 20 minutes. You can chill, check your email real fast, take a look at your phone, a quick little IG scan back and out, 2 seconds. Next thing you know, you chill 10 minutes later, you sleep. And then you only been out for 45 minutes. Took a shower, did some, grooming, fix it up a little bit, cut your nails or something like that, possibly, get some stuff ready. You can even make like your coffee started ready, and then you go back to sleep. You wake up an hour or two later, now you feel energized. A cold shower at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. does not hurt. It actually helps. That's what he does.
No. And
It rewires, it reprograms you.
I was gonna say I like that you said the grooming part too. Yeah, doing the small thing. Those are the small things, right? If you can't do the small things, it's gonna be very hard for you to do the big things, which with a long day ahead. You know what I mean? So small things like taking the trash out, keeping a clean workspace, whatever. Those small things actually carry to a productive work day. I'll tell you what, like a productive just day in general. And usually, as you accomplish one win, the ball starts to roll. You know what I mean? Once you start accomplishing one thing and another thing, say they always say, get up and make your bed. You make your bed, that's one win for the day. And you continue to do another thing and another thing and another thing, and then boom, it snowballs. So do the little things first. One of the things that I am a big proponent of is getting into nature, just getting outside every single day, get some sunlight, even if it's a cloudy day. Try to get outside and just get some fresh air. I'm someone who literally works from home, works in the office. And it drives me crazy if I don't get like a little bit of like fresh air every single day. I need a little bit of it. Even if you can't do it first thing in the morning, I've been trying to get better with getting to the gym very early. So I get to the gym early. I roll down my windows on the way to the drive there, and it feels great. The mornings have been crisp and cool lately. But getting sunlight early. But even if you can't get sunlight first thing in the morning, say you have to go to work super early, try to do it after work. You know what I mean? Try to always get some type of fresh air if you're someone who works in the office. And bathe yourself in nature, essentially. I think that's important in order to reboot your brain following a period of stress or when you're feeling very tired. Set boundaries with screen time, too, is something else I learned. There's an app that I use. It is called InReport, IN-Report. It'll actually track your weekly screen time. It'll average out what you're using daily. So you can't bullshit this app because this app will literally tell you how much screen time you're using. And it is free. I don't pay for it at all. Check out that app, but it will tell you. At one point, I was averaging way too much screen time. Way too much. I don't even want to say how much. Like, it was bad. Like,
I can imagine.
It was trash. Like, terrible. And I was like, wow, that's an eye opener. You know what I mean? So I had to definitely get better with that. There's apps too where you can like lock your phone for certain periods of day. So if you have to work and stuff, you can literally lock your phone. Obviously emergency call, you can answer calls and stuff, but anything you can lock like apps and stuff, so you can't be utilizing social media and stuff like that during your workday. Definitely look into it. I don't have the names of the apps, but I'm sure you can find them. Quick Google search will tell you apps that you can use. I think there are some free ones out there too. Always practice gratitude and have your inner thoughts. I think if you wake up early, it's the most quiet time. I don't know what your work schedules are. Everybody who's watching out there, everybody's different. I have friends that are police officers that work third shift. I know George works third shift. I used to work third shift for 6 years, and but the majority of people I know, they work first shift. So they're essentially 9 to 5 people, 7 to 3 people. I think if you work that shift, there's just something beautiful about getting up super early. Like, say you set your alarm for 4 a.m., it's quiet. Majority, you're not getting emails and notifications at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's honestly it's a beautiful thing. There's nobody bugging you. You can be with your thoughts. You can be with yourself. And I just think there's something so simplistic yet therapeutic about that.
It's nice. It's beautiful, for sure.
It is. It's a great thing. Most of the time we don't want to go to bed early, but there is a reward. Once you start to get used to waking up very early, there's something very therapeutic about it. And I don't know, you feel good. You know what I mean? You get used to just going to bed earlier and you just feel great.
I want to say something real quick. Speaking about that, right? So, glad you said that, because actually, and I've talked to some people about it, like even like that I work with, that I know, people that I've known for a while that told me the same thing kind of, and I was like, I have a good conclusion on that. Once you go to bed early, bro, and you know how to go to sleep early, and even if you stay up a little later at night, like eventually, but if you master the art of like going to bed somewhat early, and that could be anywhere between 10 This is up to like 12 in the morning because 12 a.m. But some people can actually do it, right? And you know how to get up at like 7 a.m. type thing, 6:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 a.m. You got it done, but you got to make because some people could do that. They could go to sleep at like let's just say like 11:45 to be moderate on a Friday night. Be up on Saturday morning at like crack of dawn, like or like maybe like 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. Which is still pretty good, you know what I mean? Or 6:30, you know what I mean? Which is still like a very. I mean, it's not like super duper early, but it's still quite early. I used to get up at 5 to go to work at 6 in the morning when I used to work at PPH, and I used to get up at 6 to go to work at 7 in the morning, and I get off at 2:30 and 3:30 respectively. So do the math. You see what I'm saying? Like I was working 8-hour shifts, busting my ass, but I was tired as fuck. I would come home sometimes I would sleep a little bit, and some days I wouldn't sleep much, but I would sleep like I would come home at 4 or 4:15. I would sleep from like 4:20 till about like 5:30, 5:45, 6, and sometimes I'll sleep like way after 7. I didn't like that because I felt like I wasted most of my day because I worked, then I slept to make up for such hard work. It's also hard work, It was like a lot of moving around, taking shit out, helping cooking and all that, cleaning, lifting stuff, putting food in stuff. You know what I mean? It was like working in the kitchen. The kitchen can be. It's a little different. So running food upstairs, and just the work schedule is so different that you get used to it. But when you get used to it, though, like when you get used to it, I think like you're okay with it. Like some people can kind of like go to sleep at like 11 and get up at like anytime between 6 in the morning to like 8 a.m. No problem. Like it's nothing, every day. Even if they sleep late one day, they don't got to sleep till 11 or 12 like some people do,
Yeah, everybody's different. I know people that can sleep like 3 hours and be fine and be well rested.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Some are just
I envy that. I envy that, but that's definitely not me. I definitely need my sleep. So I make
4 to
sure
5 hours at least.
Yeah, I need at least 5 hours to be able to function. But I aim to get 7 to 8.
Yeah, me too. My aim is always like 7 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
I've slept 9 hours before too, but I usually try to sleep between 6 to 7 the most. But if I can get like up to about 8, that's perfect. Like on a good day that I'm not gonna do too much, like a weekend, which is why it's good to go to sleep early because then it's another thing about rewiring your brain. I mean, you talked about it. I think I mentioned it before, probably on the show too. Definitely behind the scenes, but so the best time to sleep is actually 10 to about 10 to about 8 in the morning, bro. Maybe even like 9, no more than 9. Your brain is observing the cells from a night. It's a nighttime thing, bro. It's like I don't know how to explain this, but it's almost as if like the moon is like giving you like the energy and charging your brain. Whereas like in the day, it's not the same. Or like you sleep in at like 5 in the morning, bro, till about like 12:30, 1 o'clock. That's just trash. I mean, it helps, but it's not really. Nah, it's not what it's at, bro. It's not. It's kind of like trash compared to like we're sleeping like 10 to like to like I don't know like 5:30 or 10 to 6. You know what I mean? 10 to 6 or like 11 to like around like 7:30 a.m. You up and
Exactly.
chill, you get your thing. You get so much work done. 8 o'clock is over, bro. I mean, it's up. It's 8 o'clock even, and you're already like, your men, your men stuff, your men grooming. You know what I mean? Your scathing and all that. You cutting your beard, your haircut, whatever. You know what I mean? Cleaning up, washing up, brushing your teeth, and everything else. And then you have so much time. Like I actually learned this too one time while I was in the hotel when I went to Florida with Bob the first time to do the podcast and the show we did, and we went around with Meg Granahan, right? We got up. We actually went to sleep at like I think Bob was sleeping maybe like 11:30 though. I was up for a while because I walked around a little bit in the city and I went up in the rooftop and I chilled. I think I smoked too that night. So I went to bed at like 2:30 in the morning and we were both up by like around like 7:45.
Wow. Yeah. I have those days where I can do that. However, it is it definitely kicks my ass the next day. So the next night by the time I sleep, like I can do it. I can sleep 3 hours and get up and do it. But like it's you don't feel your best. That's for sure because you're essentially forcing yourself out of your circadian rhythm. I would say like you're not getting that quality REM sleep or EM sleep. You're not getting that quality sleep. You haven't even
either it's called EM.
cycle.
Yeah, exactly. You're right, bro. It's called EM sleep or REM sleep, rapid eye coordination. Rapid eye movement, REM, REM sleep, but that's like the deepest state of sleep. But you get them mostly in the night. Like honestly, bro, some of the best times to sleep are like a little after like that. So like on a week, let's say a weeknight, you have work the next day. I would say like between 10:30 and 11, bro. Like 10:30, 10:45. You knock it down, bro. If you want to sleep early, that's for me. It'll be early. I sleep at like 10:30, 10 o'clock every day. Like once after 10 was over, bro, I'll go to sleep up to about like the age of like 15. After that, it changed. 16, I started sleeping probably like 11:30, 12. But I was still in high school. I was still sleeping at like 11. after high school, I start sleeping like after 12, which is where the mistake started, because when you sleep, or after college too, because in college I sleep early but also late. I didn't have a very set schedule, but I was still keeping up with decent sleep patterns even in college. It's
Yeah.
just that.
I was gonna say one of the things I can tell you too is if you want to reboot or reset your mindset is I do this a lot. I try to get there as much as I can. Exercise, right? Work out, exercise, get your blood flowing. It's important to exercise. Now, most people, you'd be surprised the people that actually. There's a lot of people that actually don't exercise at all. I think it's important in order to reset your brain, so like and reset your mindset. So if you're feeling tired and you don't work out, it's actually beneficial. People would think like, oh, exercise is going to tire you out. Yeah, you might feel fatigued afterwards, but exercise actually surprisingly will actually kind of energize you. It gets your endorphins going, it gets your blood going, and
It's
it
your
gets your
blood
blood
going.
pumping, which is good. Getting outside is another thing I had on my list. I already said that.
It flexes you out.
We already talked about the sleep part of it. You need to develop healthy sleep habits. Anybody that tuned in, I was saying earlier, there's a rule out there. It's called the 10-3-1 rule. Essentially, you shouldn't consume caffeine 10 hours before sleep. You shouldn't you should eat your last heavy meal of the day, before within 3 hours of going to sleep. So you shouldn't eat anything heavy within that period. You can still eat a snack later on, like something light, but at your last heavy meal of the day within 3 hours. And then they say no electronics within 1 hour of sleep. And most people probably don't follow that. If we think of America and how we're just such a consumerism society, we're such a instant gratification society. We love to just scroll a lot of people just love to scroll on their phones before they go to sleep. It
We're
can
a
be
consumer society for sure.
It's a tough habit to break, but it's something that's important. So for me, I tailored it. Like I can consume caffeine after 10. It doesn't need to be within 10 hours of me going to sleep. I think it's because I have a tolerance to it. So I had to play around with it. But for me, I saw the sweet spot is within 6 to 7 hours of going to sleep. So if I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock, just as an example, within no later than 3 or 4 p.m. should I consume caffeine. And I was saying, people probably think I'm a hypocrite. I got a coffee here. However, this is a decaf coffee. It's a hazelnut shot. It's not sweet in flavor. That's it. So it's essentially a black coffee, just hazelnut shot in it. Decaf. It's not a sweetened coffee. I just like the taste of coffee, and I didn't have any today. So I'm chasing it with water. Hydrate too. Hydrating is the most important thing. Water is the best hydrator. So make sure you stay hydrated and eat a healthy diet. That's important too. The food that you consume is important. Drinking too much is going to make you feel tired. It's going to make you feel sluggish. And if you want to reset your brain, limit your alcohol consumption. It's okay to enjoy a drink here and there, but some people they just they have to have a drink every single day. It's like that's tough, and that's an addiction. And that's an addiction.
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing.
Every day, right? Yeah, a soda. That's candy, all that, right?
Yeah,
yo, Steve, I'm laughing about this out because some people are actually addicted to like chewing gum.
Yeah, you know what though? This is crazy to say. Gum actually has caffeine. Did you know that?
Yeah. No, I actually didn't know that, bro. To be honest, I might have heard something, but I didn't know about it. That's crazy.
Yeah, gum has caffeine.
Wow.
But gum actually. I enjoy chewing gum here and there, and you know what? It's actually a focus. It's kind of like a focus agent. What I mean by that is if you're chewing gum and working on a task, you'll actually be able to lock into it a little bit more. I don't know about for you, but for me, if I'm working on something on my computer and I'm chewing gum and I don't even notice, I'm chewing gum, but it actually helps you focus a little bit, at least for me. Now, I think everybody might be different, but there's actually studies that have been linked to that. It actually improves your focus. So, yeah, I can chew gum while working out, and it's like I'm probably not breathing,
actually,
chewing, but
right. For me, bro, it's kind of the same. Actually, yeah, I did kind of realize that when I chew gum, sometimes I'm more focused in tune on something. I'm watching something. I'm more like sort of like analytical of it. Like that is true though, because a lot of guys also do it in they chew gum in in sports. Like on a field even. They'll chew gum. Now you shouldn't spit it on the field, but football players chew the stuff like the little. Like the Cowboys do. Some people actually used to do that in baseball, but a lot of soccer players do it too. They'll chew gum, or coaches they'll chew gum, but they're chewing so nervously because maybe they're channeling their energy in their mind, to be focused again. As a coach, you got to take a lot of stress too, from the game. You got to watch what's going on. You got to take a lot of the stuff, a lot of the obstacles and harshness because you are the coach, you are the head of the operation, sort of, and you have the team. You know what I mean? Whatever sport it is, whether it's hockey or football or soccer or handball or swimming or MMA or boxing, whatever. You gotta definitely, or baseball, like, coaching is very, like, it's very important, bro. So when it comes to chewing gum, yeah, you're right. You can be definitely a little like a focus mechanism. It could be a little like a way, to do things. Like you said, some people are going to drink coffee. They feel like they can be productive on their phone or on their computer, tablet, and just do like some work and drink coffee. For me, shit, Adderall helps you fucking focus.
Adderall, yeah, Adderall it's a controlled substance. If you're
Yeah,
prescribed it, I mean, to be honest,
I know
if
people
I
they
if
are.
I'm if I'm being 100% transparent, when I was younger, I actually had ADHD, like very young, like 7 years old. I was diagnosed with ADHD. So when I was younger, I was actually on Adderall for a little bit for a couple of years. The only thing that came along with it, is I just for my side effects from it is I wasn't eating a lot at all. I was super skinny when I was younger. And then I was taken off it because of that. So for me, I had a little bit of ADHD, which is it's a hyperactivity type of disorder. As an adult, I found ways to kind of cope with that, so I don't actually deal with that. I still
Yeah,
get jittery from time to time. To be honest, I work in
yeah,
an office and I work in a setting, but I like to keep my body moving, no matter what. Get up, stretch, and things like that. I actually don't see that as a bad thing. You know what I mean? The more you move, the more calories you burn. So, but I am able to really focus as an adult doing it. But as a kid, I did have it. So
that's cool. I mean, at least
yeah.
you were actually doing some Adderall. I didn't know that. They actually helped you out in some ways, right?
Yeah, I
So
was
wait,
prescribed it. I was prescribed it.
you
Obviously, there's a
prescribed,
lot of
yeah.
people that abuse it. That you utilize it for other things, but it's I had no judgment. Like, I just everybody does what they
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. Well, people do it for many reasons too, like you said, to like they do it to like make music. They do, a lot of musicians, rappers take it helps you focus. A lot of them do it to like for other reasons. You're prescribed to. It's a little different when you like a doctor or pharmacist gives it to you as opposed to you
Yeah,
taking it on your own. Still for good reasons. Sometimes some people do it like for like tests. Some do it just to if something like a big test to do it because it helps
I
them
was
boost
gonna I
focus
was gonna
for a
say
one
that
time deal.
I was gonna say that at Temple University's Tech Center, people used to sell it like for exams like finals and stuff because
Yeah,
because
you
it was
see,
24-hour facility. People would take some just to stay up and focus. But I will
stay up all
tell
night
you,
and
I'm not a
focus.
doctor. So obviously, if you feel like you have ADHD, definitely consult because there's a real thing as adult ADHD. It's a real thing, and it can really impact your life if you can't focus. It's a big thing. I think a lot of people have too much pride and they don't want to look into it.
Or they
However,
don't need to, yeah, they don't know nothing about it.
if it's something that impairs you, definitely have tests done to go get checked out and consult a physician. Because it's a real thing, and I know some people that do have it. It's no shame. You know what I mean? You look into it and see, and you know what? You find a way to work around it. Because nobody should deal with things without having some type of support system behind it. However, what I was saying is it's kind of crazy. When I used to take when I was a kid, and then I played baseball, you could see the baseball coming in like so slow. Like now that I kind of link that like to it, like you could literally see things coming in so slow. So now when you hear of baseball players that take it, it's an illegal substance. There's a reason why. You can
Bingo.
literally see things coming at you slower. So you can literally it's an unfair advantage.
It's a fair advantage for sure, bro. I don't want to tie this to the fucking Phillies game, bro. But goddamn, man, it sucks. But yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
guys, the Phillies players, a lot of those guys, like they take Adderall and stuff like that, bro, to help them out. But it's like they don't take it because of baseball, so they obviously they're being tested. And again, that's a whole other can of worms. If we or
Yeah,
a
it's
topic of
banned.
better worms.
It's
It's
banned
it's
in
banned, yes,
baseball.
yes.
You can't
But
take it. Yeah.
drugs in baseball, the doping in baseball is so big because the steroids and everything else, all the allegations that some people that did it back in the day, and even now people get caught here and there. So it's like we can have literally a whole podcast, 148, 149, and other episodes could be about that, you know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah, at the beginning of this podcast, man, I was actually telling people before you got on, we were supposed to have a guest this week, but we're gonna have him next week. Hopefully, the way I have it set up and the way you have it set up, we usually have a thing that we meet and we talk about guests for future episodes.
yeah,
Ideally how it's looking, obviously we still have a longer pipeline to go. We usually get set up 4 to 6 episodes at a time to get to that final end of year mark, but we're trying to have a guest on every single episode the remainder of this year, just to kind of close out the year on a strong note. So the guests that couldn't come this week, we might actually have 2 guests next week. Will and Dan, right? Possibly. So we'll see. We'll see if they.
That's what we're showing. Yeah, that's what exactly. Glad you brought it up, Steve. So yeah, Steve said, and you mentioned a little before I got there, we're supposed to have 2 guests today. We're supposed to have a backup as well. Nothing really sort of transpired, but people just like obligations. Huh?
I was just saying nothing materialized. Yeah,
exactly. But both these guys been there before, and some of them have even done a late notice. So it's not uncommon for us that somebody last second or to switch up. I mean, people have lives, and unfortunately, it's not like we're a professional podcast where we're getting here. It's like huge exposure. People getting paid. We pay you pay us to get on your show. I mean, that would be nice to know, but I mean, we're working towards that. So it's like right now we're just trying to like do the best we can. And when guys have a business, sometimes it gets a little tough, and that's it. Not that I gotta explain much, but that's just how things go. And people tell you, everybody will tell you that they'll tell you themselves that in a professional world the same way. Sometimes guests gotta be switched around. Look at my man Meth Hoffa, big Meth Hoffa from the battle rap scene. He does the My Expert Opinion,
Yeah.
Shout out to Meth Hoffa. He's the man, and like for real, they said the same thing that sometimes people are like, oh, why you have these guests come before? And there's even arguments and the politics behind it and arguments and people being annoyed and beefs come up. He's like, oh, sorry, I had this guy. We had, for example, right? Like they're talking like we had Fat Joe here, 21 Savage came this way. We're trying to bring Drake. That one didn't come through with this and that. Then we had, like this guy came in. We had the producer, Lodge Professor. You know what I'm saying? Like they were talking about how there was something going on. Jay Hood came and because Jay Hood said something about the locks and they had Styles P there. So there was all beef how it was set up that way, I think that Fat Joe, Ja Rule, and then like Styles P and then 21 Savage did an appearance. And it was a really watched episode. Then Jay Hood came and he opened up a whole, like scenario. He talked about old stuff and some sort of like almost like old beefs or almost like reignited a little bit, some arguments, and people were like, come on, man, I'm disappointing you, bro. He could have said it a little different. And he was like, well, I had it planned where the episodes were just in that sequence that we couldn't really change them. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it was. I mean,
yeah.
We're talking about a big time podcast. Again, one of the most watched ones. Up with Gilly, $1 million worth of game, bro. And by the way, man, Gilly's got one of the best podcasts, man. A few of my friends know Gilly.
He's a good one.
Yeah, there were some of my friends that come to the club know Gilly, and even were the ones helping me spark, telling me to do a podcast, this and that. People are telling him, bro, and he did it, and he's doing great. So I mean, the numbers are. It's only him and the Nori podcast in terms of hip hop podcasts. Then you have, I guess the barbershop one in a chair with the Meth Hoffa. That's a pretty good one. There's some guys about the culture, but there's just so many podcasts in general. There's just so many different varieties. I mean, from Joe Rogan's to even fucking like Adam 22. You have ones with Andrew Tate. You have different ones about influencers, life coaches.
Yeah.
Simple things like just keep life, keep it on your own terms, your own grounds. Stuff like how we talk about personal development, like the way we kind of are,
Yeah, Adam 22 and no jumper. There's some things I could say about that, but I don't even want to get into with his wife and stuff with all the.
There's a lot of bullshit going on. I mean, but just in general, he had.
I'll be honest, but
he had some fighters on that podcast. By the way.
Yeah, go back to our stuff. I was going to say, I was telling people too, we're almost at the 3-year mark. Technically, time-wise, we are at the 3-year mark. We already passed it, September 10th.
We already passed it.
But 3 years worth of episodes is 156 episodes, 52 plus 52 plus 52. 156 episodes. If we stay consistent with what our schedule is right now, it's going to probably come on December 27th, right around Christmas. That Thursday. So we're actually going to be right at the end of the year. We're going to hit, and you're going to think it's like about 3-month difference, right? Then like when we started, because we took time off. There was one point I think in the first year where we took a month off, and then we took episodes off here and there, and they probably added up to 3 months total. You know what I mean? And time. So the time lapse is a little bit different, but 3-year mark of episodes is going to actually hit 156. Look, I was just looking at the schedule real quick. Looks like end of December. So we will plan something cool for that. That's actually going to be our real 3-month anniversary for this podcast is when we do 156 episodes. So we're almost there. We'll do something fun for that. It's kind of a window that we have open at the end of the year right now. So out of our schedule. So we'll figure that one out. But yeah, man, good stuff. Crazy that we're almost there. Someone just texted me today, right before this podcast. I send out like promo texts and stuff. And they told me they can't believe we're at 147 episodes.
Yeah, we're pretty good, but we're definitely episode-wise, we're doing good in that one. We just gotta keep up the good work. I mean, possibly get a few more because 52 times 3, like you said, is 156 with episodes, right? So that's like a lot of hours of content, and that's what we're shifting towards. We're just trying to shift towards like having more content and reaching the 150 mark, 152. I mean, we're almost 150, so 152 is close to, and then 156 is only like about 9 episodes away. So we're. Yeah, you're right. We're 9 episodes, which will be around December 27th, away from 3 years of exactly of every week basically in the year. Even though obviously there's gonna be some small hiatuses, some days we can't do. We pull the plug. We pulled the plug like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we have to. Sometimes we do it for the marketing meetings too and stuff. If we don't have time to fit that in, we need to find some time. We're both busy individuals, so we have to sometimes find it. So we do apologize on sometimes weeks when we can't really do it. We want to get better with having scheduled hiatuses, so like that way, like it's not just something that kind of pops up on the whim. So we can kind of throw it on the calendar. But things do arise. Unfortunately, this is not a monetary based podcast yet, so other things sometimes
pop and come up.
They kind of go higher priority. You know what I mean? And that's normal. You know what I mean? Things where we're making money are going to be priority. We love coming on here and we love telling you guys our experiences and be able to give you guys,
you guys some experiences
off of that. We're not, we're professionals in some areas. Other places we're novices, but we do like to share our experiences. Anytime we're professionals, we'll let you know on that. However, on times where it's based strictly off opinion and we're not certified in something, we always let you know that up front. So it's a lot of it's experience. We're also young and still, learning along the way, but we're professionals in other areas too, different areas. So things we are certified and are professionals in, we always let you know. Other areas we do as well. And the sports ones are obviously opinion based. We're not sportscasters or sports analysts, but we know a lot about a lot of the sports we cover. As people who grew up watching sports, we bring people on to have great opinions. So, and they, that's what podcasts are about. I think it's just people coming together and sharing opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Share perspectives.
Yeah, we have professionals come on that are definitely certified in things a lot of times, and it's like bona fide information. But at the end of the day, even if a doctor comes on, a doctor might be a professional, but a doctor might have an opinion, and another doctor might have a different opinion. Based off of the way they've studied or practiced. So everything's different. It's a lot of podcasts are great to kind of just bring people together to share their opinions. And if they have businesses, we love bringing entrepreneurs on here to kind of promote their business. And when we build a mutually beneficial relationship, it's one of the best things about this podcast is, me and George have had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people on the way. George has met people that I knew. I have met people, and then I met people that George knew. And then I've reached out to people that I did not know on social media. And that's a lot of times, that's how we build a great relationship with people. You know what I mean? We just reach out to someone. Hey, do you want to come? I love what you're posting. You kind of relate to our content. Do you want to come on the podcast? And a lot of times we get yeses. People do want to come on. So it's a great way. I always say, if you have the time to do it and you're thinking about doing a podcast, definitely give it a shot. Give it a try because
give it a try, guys. It's not bad, man. It's a good start. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of good added value with it.
I agree, Steve. I definitely agree 100%, bro. Follow your dreams, guys, and follow like some of your passions. Small things turn to bigger things too. You never know. I mean, you start a podcast, then you have a nice little show.
Yeah, like realistically, here we do want to generate money. We want to be able to do this like at a longer base. Obviously more hours than we realistically do. We love to make money. We know we're not going to probably realistically become millionaires from the podcast per se, but linking business through your podcast is a way to make millions of dollars. I don't think like just a talk show is going to build millions of dollars unless you're being like Joe Rogan or something like that. It's very difficult to get to that level, but he was already known. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but the podcast is a great way. If you have, say George has a business and I have a business and we bring those businesses together and we connect the podcast, it's a great way to do great things. And you learn a lot doing the podcast too, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes stuff. So video editing, all that stuff, and all the production type of stuff. There's a lot of stuff you learn. And with content and all that. I know we're talking about podcasting a lot here. So, going back to the resetting the brain stuff, I was just saying, and the mindset and the not crashing in the afternoon. My six tips that I had here. Well, actually, let me go back. I have my tips here. All right, so some of the biggest things that I had here are, number one, be careful of how much caffeine you're consuming. So your sugar content, all that stuff. Try to get a healthy night's sleep. Be careful of instant gratification. The 10-10-3-1 rule. So it's 10 hours no caffeine 10 hours before sleep. Tweak it to see what it is for you. Your tolerance might be higher. No heavy meals within 3 hours before sleeping. You can have a slight snack. No heavy meals though. and then limit your phone consumption or screen consumption, blue light, to within 1 hour of sleep. And then you build healthy sleep habits. The better night's sleep you can get, the less likely you're about to crash. You're going to crash. And then be careful of what you're consuming first thing in the morning. If you're consuming like a Red Bull or a Monster and you're crashing, it's probably from that. We have a lot of a lot of shit chemicals in those things. Looks like George was somehow he'll come back in, but there's a lot of shit chemicals in those energy drinks and stuff. And I'm someone who drinks energy drinks. Like I substitute them for like coffee some days. I drink the non-sugar ones, but just caffeine. However, they do still have, even though there's no sugar or calories in them, there's still a lot of shit chemicals. Not gonna lie, if I'm being transparent. But I try to be better with it. I was someone who was having an energy drink every single day. I'm not like that now. I'll have like a couple energy drinks a week. That's about it. And I try not to consume an energy drink and coffee in the same day anymore. I used to do that too. The energy drinks I never really got like a crazy crash from, even though there's shitty ingredients in them, because I don't drink those sugar energy drinks. I drink, like, if anybody knows, see my social media, I drink Ghost. I'm not sponsored by Ghost or anything, but I do like the flavors that they produce. There's like 5 to 10 calories in each one, 0 grams of sugar, caffeine, but there is sucralose and other shit chemicals that are inside of it. I'm not gonna lie. Flavors are bomb though. There's no color additives or anything like that. Be careful of your caffeine consumption is what I'm telling you. If you are going to consume caffeine, they say relatively to do it within 2 hours of rising. But that doesn't work for everybody. Some people like to, go to the gym and then drink caffeine, which I understand because I do that myself a lot of times in the mornings. But be careful of your caffeine consumption. Make sure you get quality rest. Make sure your diet is on point. Things that can help with brain fog, some foods are broccoli, hard-boiled eggs, nuts, pumpkin seeds, blueberries, salmon, so like oily fishes with high omega-3s. There's a lot of great foods out there. They're great for brain fog. So if you're going through like a brain fog right now in your own life, start with a healthy diet. High starchy foods and sugars and carbs. It provides you with a short-term dopamine. Believe me, you love those tasty foods because they give you instant gratification. However, if you can delay it just a little bit and you rewire yourself, and they say it takes like 3 days to really detox your body when it comes to foods. So try to just consume those. Try to make sure that the majority of your diet is consumed of those type of foods. You can Google, foods that help with brain health, with your mind health, and you can find it. Another one is, I think another food is whole grains, whole grains, things like that. Another important thing is carbohydrates. I'm not a nutritionist, but this is what I've, if you're eating carbs later in the day, what's up, George? Just bringing you back in. I was saying about healthy foods for brain fog and stuff like that, but I was actually saying one of the things about carbohydrates is we look at white rice, potatoes, and stuff like that as bad carbs, right? But it's actually not necessarily true just because they're starchy carbs. It's actually probably better to consume white rice or white potatoes later in the evening versus brown rice or sweet potatoes or oats. Complex carbohydrates like brown rice, like oats, like sweet potatoes, don't digest as easily. So if you're going to eat carbohydrates earlier in the day, brown rice can be good. Sweet potatoes, oats. A lot of people have overnight oats. They have them in the morning to start the day. But if you're going to eat carbohydrates later in the day, you probably want to stay away from those complex carbohydrates and eat simple carbs like white rice or potatoes. They're easier to digest, and they're probably going to allow you to have a better night's sleep, which essentially is going to help you eliminate that brain fog as much as possible. Exercise too, guys. Make sure you just get out. Go for a walk. You don't need to go for a run or anything like that. If you can't run and you're not in the health to run, just go for a walk. Go out, go for a little walk. Matt was just talking about this the other day. One of the best things you can do for weight loss and for gut health and all different things, and just for your health in general, go for a walk. Go for a little walk. If you have a dog, take your dog out. Take it for a walk. If you have a partner, ask them to go for a walk with you. If you don't, just put your headphones in, go for a walk. And lift weights too, guys. A lot of people, there's a lot of people also out there that just do cardio and they don't lift weights. Make sure to have a healthy routine and mix it in. There's so many benefits to resistance and weight training out there. And Matt and Frank have said this when they came on the podcast. After you lift weights, your body continues to burn calories all day long. Versus if you just do cardio, steady state cardio, your body burns calories when you're doing cardio, but once you stop, the amount of calories you were burning stops. Versus when you lift weights, your body continues to burn calories all day long.
Yeah, lifting weights got its advantages, bro. And some of the things actually, like speaking of rewiring the brain and trying to like change some habits, it says it takes like 21 days to get this idea in your brain, but it takes 63. I read somewhere. I'll do some research before the show to really change that sort of like habit, that the attitude towards it, the way their routine. For example, like me, right? I make my bed every time I get up, but sometimes I do it a little later though. But I still do get it done every day. I never leave my bed like undone. Very, very rarely. You see what I'm saying? Like we talked about it earlier and shit. So that it's been sort of embedded, and stuck in my brain, but it's been like stamped in my brain in a way. It's just such a habit. It definitely took more than like, you know what I'm saying? Like in 21 days, but this is also like years ago though. So who knows how many days? I mean, if you time 365, but like, let's say like 5, and I've been doing it more than 5. Yeah, when I was younger, sort of like my folks, my parents, and especially my mom, they tell me like making a bed was a really important thing. So I'm used to that, or vacuuming. And the whole thing, bro, trying to work out in the morning has always been part of my routine. I don't do it as much because I work a lot, but I still sneak in at least 40 to 50 push-ups and sit-ups. I got a pull-up bar in the backyard. I can do a pull-up bar. So if I don't go to the gym, I'm still moving a little bit. Like you said, I got some small weights and free weights. It's just that nothing beats the gym. Me and you, let's be clear. We're like gym guys. We don't really just go, do a little tiny workout. We like to do a real workout. So we go to the gym. But I got a small gym in my own house, bro. So I got stuff here I can work out on. But working out, though, it's good, bro. Like they said, like the workout phase is important. Meditating, relaxing, and just like laying low a little bit. Reading a book, and also drinking water. And it's saying like eating a small meal and healthy and going for a walk after that is very beneficial. You don't get hungry right away, but you get hungry and you eat the good stuff. Don't try to stay away from bad food. That's really very important too. Bad
Yeah.
food can influence the brain more than we think. Of course, sleep and sleep patterns. They say yoga is another one. So yeah, I covered a few because I've seen like a list of like 5 to 10, but I just covered a few. I took a few of them. I know you had a couple good points too, but that's kind of like that's a lot of the stuff that helps you sort of like reproduce. More like what I mean, like brain. What I mean, like more like what I mean, like the brain cells you need. Just like the sleep you need, bro. Help your brain, help your body. First of all, like your cells. I mean, it's just funny because we're made of water, but we drink water. Like men is mostly water. That's insane, right?
Yeah, it really is. I was going to say, when it comes to unhealthy foods, 80-20 is usually the rule, right? You can have 20% of crappy foods and 80%. You want to eat 80% of the time healthy. Yeah. So follow that, guys. We tried to do what we could here today. We just, we put together an episode. Unfortunately, we're supposed to have 2 guests, but what can you do, man? This is the nature of the business and what happens. So next week we plan to have those 2 guests on in the building. So we will figure it out. And even if not, we will move other guests up. So we'll figure out a way to get guests in. Eventually, we're going to have to talk about Philly sports again. Obviously, we want to bring people in, and the Eagles are doing fantastic. There's some fantastic things going on right now with what they did with drafting Kevin Byard. So we have a top 3 safety on the team. However, we will have to get back to eventually talking about the Philadelphia Phillies and the massive choke job that they did, because it was an absolute fucking choke job. It's just
what a choke job. What a terrible situation from 5-1 to losing the game. But I mean,
choke job. The bats could not get going. And they should have won the World Series this year, man. They were the best team to do it, and they just could not get it done. They choked.
This was the year.
Crazy.
I agree with you on that too, bro. But it's really sad. But for us, as sports fans and Philly fans, but I mean, we got to move on. Now we got basketball. I mean, hopefully the Sixers do something. The Flash can pull something off. The Eagles looking kind of good. I just focus on the stuff. But I mean, we'll talk about the Phillies, and hopefully the Phillies win it next year. Because I mean, this year was a good year. They looked even a little better than last year this year, but I don't know. Would you say that a better year last year or this year?
The Phillies?
Yeah.
Last year because they got to the World Series.
Yeah, I would say
And
last year was probably slightly a little better.
I mean, they weren't expected to go to the World Series last year, but they got there. You know
And
what I
this year
mean?
they were like really good, but it choked in like basically the right before the World Series, the semifinals, if you
Yeah,
will.
this year was a huge disappointment. Last year they weren't even supposed to be there.
The Astros were supposed to be a better team, and
We had
they kind of proved it.
expectations this year.
I know, but I think next
But
year could be better, bro, with the right people, the right signings. We'll see.
But the Eagles look fantastic, so we shall see. Football is a sport of injuries, so the Eagles have to stay healthy. However, I saw a statistic that was saying it was a statistic that said I think ever since the Sixers lost to the Hawks in Game 7 in 2021, the Phillies lost a 3-2 lead in the World or 2-1 lead in the World Series last year. I think the Eagles lost a lead at halftime in the Super Bowl last year. The Union lost up 1 goal. Sixers choked a 3-2 lead in the second round against the Celtics. And now the Phillies choked again, up 2-0 in this series. Crazy.
Last year was terrible, bro. Last year the Union lost. I don't even think they scored a penalty. They fucking missed every penalty in a shootout against LA. The Flyers, who beat the Flyers last year?
The Flyers didn't make the playoffs.
They kind of stunk. They weren't really much last year. Eagles lost Super Bowl again, disappointment. Speaking of choking and all that, although it was a different situation, I wouldn't say they choked. They just that kind of the better team won, and we're 5 and now we're 6-1 this year. But again, he said the Phillies choked again, and this time they choked kind of worse, I would say, because last year it wasn't much expectation on that. Happens, bro. And of course the Sixers, the fucking Celtics. We'll see what happens this year. I'm watching NBA right now, bro. I'm kind of like, because I was watching yesterday the Dallas game. And speaking of Celtics versus New York, I believe they played the Knicks. They played last night. I think it was the Knicks.
They might have. I have as of now.
I watched the New York Boston game.
Yeah, I don't have any real. I might sound like a downer, but I don't have any really hope for the Sixers this year. I just don't know what's going on. Harden is going to be out of here, so I have no expectations for this team. None.
Wait, Harden's gonna be out of here? You think middle of the year or to end of June, end of the year, end of the season?
Probably by the trade deadline. Yeah, he's
Which will be around February.
He doesn't want to be here anymore, so it's and the Sixers did not get better in the offseason. So, but the Bucks got better. They got Dame Dollar, they got Damian Lillard, and the Celtics got better, and the Heat are still better than us, I think. And we're declining. It's a shame. I really hope. But I think Joel's going to eventually have to go somewhere else. It sucks. I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer or negative energy, but I'm just keeping it real. I don't have expectations. Yeah, I'm all in on the Eagles right now. The Phillies depressed us, but we still have the Eagles, which is good. So
we'll see, man. Let's not be too down on the Sixers. I mean, we'll see how it goes. We have the Union still doing two things, No real Philadelphia fighters really coming out. Obviously, some in the fighting world, we have obviously Sean Brady, some of these other guys from Philly. So we'll see if anybody fights for the title eventually. Some guys might, But there's always new contenders in the world of fighting, MMA, and mixed martial arts and all that, UFC and boxing too, of course. But I hope are the Eagles, Sixers, and the Union. The Union's doing good, bro. They might win something. So only thing is, if the Union won, bro, realistically, no one really cares too much about the Union like that to go out and grease poles and climb and foot cars and all that's all Eagles and Phillies and Sixers probably. Maybe Flyers a little bit, but
yeah.
No one's gonna go foot cars if a man from Philly becomes UFC champion,
Yeah, we have a sports schedule in one of our upcoming episodes, so we'll cover it all. That being said, guys, I'm probably gonna wrap up here if you're cool with that, George, just because we've gone over the hour mark and
almost.
Yeah, about to be that time here.
But yeah, it's all good.
Guys, like, comment, subscribe if you aren't already. And if you're watching a rebroadcast, we always plead with you, comment down below because we will answer your comments.
Hit that bell, hit the subscription button.
Turn notifications on. Yep. Because we release weekly episodes. You don't want to miss it. That being said, guys, 148 next week. 8 episodes away from the 3-year mark of 156. So hopefully we'll have those 2 guests in next week and we'll plug them and it should be a great episode. I'm looking forward to it. I guess with that being said, it'll actually be Halloween next week by the time we see it. So, guys, have a happy Halloween. Have a great weekend. We shall see you next week for episode 148.
Happy Halloween, guys.
All right, guys. Have a great night. See you guys later.
See you next episode. Have a great one.
Peace, guys. Later.